It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. Here's your host, Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the new week. I have fantastic news for you today because the weather just couldn't be much better. We've got that cool, calm, crisp feeling in the air this morning. It's near 60 degrees early on this Monday. We're going to warm up into the 80s, but overall, things are looking great for us, at least for the first part of the week. And then some of that heat and humidity that we were dealing with last week, it might inch back in, but it won't be as bad as last week. Hard to be as bad as last week. That was awful, wasn't it? We're seeing cooler temperatures. It's much more comfortable. You can actually get outside several different days this week. What we need, though, is some rainfall. We had a little bit over the weekend, but we could really use some more. And I don't have much coming our direction in this extended forecast. So that's the one bad thing. This is not going to be a good week for the drought monitor. I think we'll see conditions worsen in a lot of places over the extended forecast. Today, though, fabulous to start the new week. You can get outside today. In fact, this is the pick day of the week. Monday, the best one in my extended forecast. I have sunshine. You're looking at 83 degrees this afternoon. We've already got a northeast breeze. It's not going to be too strong today, but I do have a nice little northeast breeze keeping things cool. We've got the lower relative humidity. It's just all good news here to start the new week. The weather setup, well, it looks like we're going to see calm weather here in the Midwest, while all the action is going to be focused on the coast this week. Of course, eyes on a potential hurricane down in Florida. I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But there's also a frontal boundary down all the way from Texas back through much of the southeast, and it's already providing rain chances. So they're getting rain now to start the week and then potentially dealing with tropical moisture by the middle of the week. So a soaker for the southeastern portion of the country this week. We are going to see dry conditions and heat that builds back into the forecast as we kind of inch through this day by day. I see that big ridge of high pressure scooting back over to the Midwest. So we will see our temperatures respond to that. We'll get back into the 90s this week, and it's that big heat dome, the same one that we were dealing with last week. It strengthens again. Looks like it sets up over much of the center part of the country again for the early part of September. That is going to keep the heat and the humidity going to start the week. And it also cuts our rain chances off. So the Climate Prediction Center issues these long range forecasts. And when I look out the September 3rd through September 9th timeframe, looks like the heat is back in full force and not much in the way of rainfall for the Ozarks. It means if you're thinking about closing the pool for Labor Day, you may want to rethink, because I think the heat's going to stick around at least a couple of weeks. September looking like it will end up being probably a little bit above average temperature wise. Hot and sunny then for the Labor Day weekend. The 90s are back. Big lake weekend, big pool weekend, big river weekend in the Ozarks. And I think this year is going to agree with that. We have a lot of conditions that are going to be setting up for a nice weekend across the region, but a hot one with temperatures back into the 90s and a whole lot of sunshine. So you can't beat it. Today, the best day of the week, as I mentioned, 83, my forecast for the high temperature. Tonight, once again, we'll see a low temp near 60. So really comfortable mornings and evenings. Fantastic. Nothing but sunny skies in the forecast this week. I don't have any major weather systems that will impact us here in the Ozarks. The big talker is down in Florida. So if you have any friends or family, or you're yourself are planning to vacation, the Florida Panhandle, the West Coast, look to be impacted by this tropical storm that developed over the weekend. Idalia formed over the weekend out in the Gulf. And I'm sure you've heard some of the headlines across the country. The waters in the Gulf are ridiculously hot. I mean, they are insanely warm, which is not good news for hurricane season, because it means that storms that form out there, or at least move into the Gulf, well, the warm water actually helps them strengthen. So we are expecting some pretty major strengthening out of Idalia, and it could potentially be a hurricane by the time it makes landfall this week, probably the Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe in Florida. So this one will impact the United States, but it's not just Florida. It's going to impact Florida first. Of course, that's where we make landfall. And then it'll probably be moving up through Georgia, the Carolinas, and much of the East Coast, dumping a lot of rain. We're talking widespread areas, seeing about 5 inches of rain. Of course, the coastal flooding will be a concern, but also places that have the front that's set up early this week, they're already getting this rain, and then they're looking at a tropical system to move in for midweek. So all eyes on Florida. We hope it doesn't strengthen too fast, but my fear is that the water's really warm. So I would not be surprised to see this once tropical storm strengthen, make itself to a hurricane, hopefully a low end one, as we are looking to kind of see that impact the United States as we head closer to the middle of the week. So I'll be updating you on that this week as well. It is time for the Wake Up Weather Brain Twister question. This is the question that I left you with last week. Which state's citizens speak the quickest? And the options that I gave you were A, Iowa, B, Massachusetts, C, Minnesota, or D, Oregon. I saw a lot of folks taking a guess. I actually saw a lot of people guessing A, Iowa, and a lot of guesses for B, Massachusetts. I think that's kind of the stereotype for the Northeast, that they talk quickly. Northerners definitely talk quicker than Southerners. We can all agree on that. However, the correct answer is C, Minnesota. And there's some conflicting information out there. I looked at several different sources. Many sources also say that Oregon has the quickest speaking citizens, which pretty much no one guessed. But C, Minnesota is the source that I'm going with. This is from a study from Good Day, Utah, and it seemed pretty scientific. So they took all of these YouTube videos and instructional videos that were developed in different states and actually broke it down into syllables per second, with how quickly folks spoke. And Minnesota took the number one spot in this particular study at 5.34 syllables per second. A very close second was Oregon at 5.33. So fast talkers, Minnesota and Oregon. I myself have been accused of being a fast talker. Not unrightfully. I am a fast talker. And I lived in Minnesota, fun fact, as a small child. So maybe that's where I got it from. But Minnesota, fastest talkers, Oregon, a second. And some of the other key findings from the study that I thought were kind of interesting. The United States city with the fastest average rate is Portland, Oregon at 5.38 syllables per second. And the United States city with the slowest average speech rate is Peoria, Illinois. Some slow talkers. If you know anybody in Peoria, not too far away, only 4.71 syllables per second. So that is some slow talking. A lot of the southern states were also on the slow talker rate, and some of the top 10 of the fastest talking states, of course, Minnesota. We also have several others from the Midwest, not Missouri, not Arkansas, but Minnesota, Iowa, Kansas, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska all have pretty fast talkers. Interesting. Not just known for agriculture, also known for talking fast. We got to get it out. Got to get that done. All right, I will leave you with the weather quiz question for tomorrow morning. This one, cotton candy is called what in France? Do you think it is A, fairy floss, B, candy floss, C, Santa's beard, or D, dad's beard? Let me know what you think. You can do that over on the Around the Ozarks Facebook page. Thank you for listening this morning. Get outside today at some point. It is just going to be too nice to miss out. If you need weather throughout the day, make sure you check out aroundtheozarks.com. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather podcast. You can do that anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Enjoy the day. We will chat again early tomorrow morning.